There's a special kind of magic in vintage camping. It's a world away from today's high-tech gadgets and creature comforts. Back then it was just you, a canvas tent, a flickering campfire, and the vast, untamed wilderness. The air felt cleaner, the stars shone brighter, and every challenge was a true test of your spirit. We didn't have GPS to guide us or smartphones to call for help. We had a compass, a map, and our own wits. It was about relying on the basics, on skills passed down through generations, and on the unbreakable bond of the team you were with. That's where the real adventure lived. I remember my early days as a scout, the excitement bubbling up inside me before every trip. We would pack heavy canvas rucksacks with gear that seems ancient now. Wool blankets, heavy cast iron pans, and simple tin mess kits were our tools. The thrill wasn't just in reaching the destination, it was in the journey itself. It was in learning how to read the land, how to predict the weather by looking at the clouds, and how to make a fire with just what nature provided. These trips were more than just holidays. They were classrooms without walls, teaching us resilience and respect for the powerful forces of the wild. The stories from those days are etched into my memory. They are tales of grit, laughter, and sometimes a little bit of fear. We faced downpours that turned our campsite to a muddy swamp and navigated through forests so thick you could barely see the sun. Each challenge, whether big or small, taught us something invaluable. We learned that a positive attitude could keep you warm, even when you were soaked to the bone. We discovered that the simplest meal cooked over an open fire could taste better than anything from a fancy restaurant. It was raw, it was real, and it was brilliant. These adventures shaped us. They stripped away the non-essentials and showed us what we were truly made of. Out there, with no distractions, you learn about yourself and the people with you. You see who steps up when things get tough, who can make everyone laugh when spirits are low, and who has the patience to teach a younger scout how to tie a proper knot. The wild has a way of revealing character. The lessons we learned under the stars, surrounded by the sounds of the night, have stayed with me for my entire life. They are the foundation of survival. I'll never forget a trip to the Welsh Mountains with my scout troop. We were young, full of energy, and maybe a little too confident. A fellow scout, let's call him Tom, was in charge of the fire-starting kit for our group. He proudly showed us his tin box packed with what he claimed were waterproof matches. The first night was cold, a damp chill that seeped into your bones. As dusk fell, we gathered wood, prepared our shelter, and eagerly waited for Tom to work his magic. He opened the tin and his face dropped. The matches weren't just damp, they were completely soaked from a leaky water bottle in his pack. Panic started to creep in. The temperature was dropping fast, and the thought of a long, cold night without a fire was a grim one. We had no hot food, no warmth, and no light against the encroaching darkness. Some of the younger scouts looked genuinely scared. It was a moment where we could have given up or started blaming Tom. But our scout leader, a wise old owl of a man, simply smiled. He told us that nature always provides an answer if you know where to look. He showed us how to find dry tinder tucked away under the bark of a dead silver birch tree. He then pulled out his own emergency flint and steel, a tool we had all seen but never truly appreciated. He patiently showed us how to strike the steel, sending a shower of sparks onto the fluffy tinder. It took many attempts. Our fingers were numb with cold, and our frustration grew with each failed spark. But we worked together, taking turns, encouraging each other. Finally, a tiny ember began to glow. We huddled around it, gently blowing, nurturing it with the care you would give a newborn baby. Slowly, painstakingly, it grew into a small flame and then into a roaring, life-giving fire. The lesson that night was crystal clear. Always have a backup and never rely on just one person or one tool. Technology, even simple technology like matches, can fail, but knowledge and teamwork are your most reliable assets. We learned the importance of being prepared for the unexpected and the power of perseverance when faced with a challenge. That night, huddled around the fire we had earned, our hot chocolate tasted like victory. We didn't just survive the cold, we learned to overcome it together, and Tom never packed his matches next to his water bottle ever again. On another camping trip, this time in the New Forest in England, we had an encounter that was more funny than frightening, but it taught us a vital lesson about respecting wildlife. We had meticulously set up our camp following all the rules. Our food was stored in what we thought was a secure patrol box, a sturdy wooden chest with a latch. We felt very proud of our tidy little camp. After a long day of hiking and map reading, we crawled into our sleeping bags exhausted and fell asleep to the gentle sounds of the forest at night. Around midnight, I was woken by a strange noise. It was a shuffling, snuffling sound, followed by a loud clatter. My first thought was that a badger or a fox was trying to get into our supplies. Peeking out of the tent, I saw a silhouette against the moonlit sky. It wasn't a fox. It was a pony, one of the wild ponies the New Forest is famous for. It had cleverly figured out how to nudge the latch on our patrol box open with its nose, and was now happily munching its way through our entire supply of bread for the week. At first we were annoyed. We quietly tried to shoo it away, but the pony was stubborn and clearly enjoying its midnight snack. Soon, the whole troop was awake, watching this comical scene unfold. We couldn't be angry for long. The pony looked so pleased with itself, and we realized the fault was ours, not its. Our secure box wasn't secure enough for a creature that had spent its whole life learning to find food in this forest. We were visitors in its home, and we had underestimated its intelligence. It was a humbling and hilarious experience. The next morning, as we ate our porridge without any toast, we had a good laugh about it. But the lesson was profound. When you enter nature, you are entering someone else's home. You must respect the local inhabitants, whether they are big or small. We learned that day to take extra precautions, to properly secure our food not just from the elements, but from the clever and curious animals we shared the space with. Friendship with nature is built on respect, and that means understanding and adapting to its rules, not expecting it to adapt to ours. Reflecting on these vintage camping tales, it's clear that the lessons learned go far beyond the campsite. The world has changed dramatically since those days of canvas tents and soggy matches, but the core principles of survival and character remain the same. The wild taught us that preparation is everything. Having a backup plan, whether it's a flint and steel in your pocket or a second route on a map, is a mindset that serves you well in any career or personal challenge. Life, like the wilderness, is unpredictable. Being prepared isn't about fearing the worst. It's about having the confidence to face whatever comes your way. The teamwork we learned while building a shelter in the rain or nurturing a fledgling fire translates directly to how we work with people in our daily lives. In the wild, you quickly learn that everyone has a strength to contribute. The strongest can carry the heaviest pack, the most patient can teach a difficult skill, and the most cheerful can lift the spirits of the entire group. Success is a collective effort. This understanding of shared responsibility and mutual support is the bedrock of any successful family, community, or workplace. It's about knowing that we are always stronger together. Most importantly, these old-fashioned adventures instilled in us a deep and lasting respect for the natural world. By depending on it for our warmth, water, and shelter, we learned not to take it for granted. This connection fosters a sense of stewardship, a desire to protect these wild places for future generations. It teaches you humility, reminding you that you are part of something much bigger than yourself. This perspective is crucial in a modern world that is often disconnected from the environment that sustains it. It encourages us to live more simply and thoughtfully. Ultimately, the spirit of those vintage camping trips is a spirit of resilience. It's the ability to face a setback, whether it's a hungry pony or a sudden storm, and not just endure it, but learn from it and laugh about it later. It's about finding joy in the simple things and strength in each other. These are not just camping skills, they are life skills. They teach you to be adaptable, resourceful, and positive in the face of adversity. And that is a lesson that will guide you through any wilderness, whether it's made of trees or of concrete. Never stop exploring,